People act like hard work is an ironclad formula for success, like it's the one surefire way to make it big. Now, I'm not here to tell you hard work doesn't matter, because it does. Of course it does. Hard work, in and of itself, can help you get places, can help you build a reputation, can help you achieve competence. But here's what you need to know. Hard work alone won't guarantee you success. Hard work alone won't be the golden ticket you may have been led to believe it is. And why is that? Because while hard work is valuable, what it takes to achieve true success goes beyond it. How many people out there are working hard every single day and yet aren't experiencing significant success? Think about it. They put in the hours. They put in the effort. They're grinding, but they aren't reaching those heights of achievement that success truly demands. It's important to recognize that hard work is only part of the formula. If hard work was all it took, every construction worker, every janitor, every single person toiling in fields or factories, they'd be millionaires, billionaires even. And that's not the case, is it? So, what is it then? What else do we need if hard work alone won't get us there? That's what we're going to talk about today. Success doesn't come from effort alone. It's about making sure your hard work is leading you somewhere, that it's aligned with a clear direction, with knowledge, with connections, with opportunity, and with a mindset that's equipped to handle the success you're aiming for. So, the first critical ingredient that goes beyond hard work: direction. Picture this. You're on a boat and you're rowing with everything you've got, giving it every ounce of strength you have. But if you're rowing in circles or heading away from your destination, that hard work is doing what? It's wasting energy. And that's the story of so many people's lives. They've got the energy, they've got the will to work hard, but they haven't taken the time to decide where they're going. They haven't set their aim. Success starts with a clear sense of direction. And you might be thinking, well, how do I find that direction? Sometimes people feel they need to have it all figured out before they start working. And that's not what I'm saying. Finding direction is about clarity, setting clear goals, and choosing a destination. You start by understanding what it is that you want out of life, not just in broad terms, but in specifics. Here's a key question. What does success look like to you? Because without that clarity, hard work can feel a lot like running on a treadmill. It's a lot of movement, a lot of sweat, but you're not moving closer to where you want to go. When I was young and full of ambition, but lacking in knowledge, Mr. Schoaf told me something I'll never forget. He said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up somewhere you didn't plan to be. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Because at that time I was working hard, I was putting in the hours, but I had no clear direction. And without direction, you'll end up anywhere. Hard work needs a target to aim for. And that target is your purpose, your destination. When we talk about direction, it isn't only about a career or a job title. It's about what fulfills you, what you want to contribute, and what you want to accomplish. When you've got that locked in, then your hard work becomes purposeful, focused, and strategic. Hard work alone is like a vehicle without a steering wheel. It's powerful, but it's directionless. And that's not the only thing we need. We also need knowledge, another key ingredient that adds value to our hard work. Because while you may be working hard, if you're not knowledgeable in what you're doing, if you don't strive to gain insight and skill, your work will be limited in its impact. It's like knowledge is a multiplier for hard work. It magnifies and sharpens your efforts, taking them further than raw labor ever could. Imagine this. Two people are working just as hard as each other, day in and day out. But one has spent time studying the field, learning the tricks of the trade, building skill sets. Their hard work is worth more because they've added a layer of knowledge on top. Think of it like this. You could hammer nails all day, or you could learn how to build a house. It's not about labor. It's about learning to apply that labor effectively. I once had a conversation with a young man who came to me after one of my seminars, and he was frustrated. He said, "Mr. Rohn, I've been working so hard, but I'm not seeing any progress. I'm not getting the results I want." So I asked him, "How much time have you spent learning, developing yourself, growing your knowledge?" And he looked at me a bit confused. In his mind, he was doing everything he thought he needed to do. But hard work, without the addition of knowledge, will limit your ability to grow and succeed. You can't rely solely on hard work. You have to keep investing in yourself. You have to learn to be effective in what you're doing. Because the more you know, the further your hard work will take you. Knowledge allows you to see opportunities where others see obstacles. It opens doors that are closed to the unprepared. It brings you closer to people who can help lift you up, people who recognize and respect skill and understanding. Hard work, when combined with knowledge, becomes much more powerful, more targeted, and more likely to yield results. It's not just about working harder, but about working smarter. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Because ignorance costs you, sometimes dearly. Ignorance means missed opportunities, poor decisions, and wasted effort. Knowledge, on the other hand, is the fuel that powers your hard work forward. It makes every hour you put in count for more. It transforms labor into mastery, struggle into strategy. And it's those who are strategic in their hard work that find success in ways others don't. Here's another critical component that goes beyond mere hard work, and that's adaptability. Life is unpredictable. It's filled with twists, turns, setbacks, and surprises. The ability to adapt, to stay flexible in your approach, is just as important as working hard. Because when things don't go according to plan, if you can't pivot, all the hard work in the world won't get you where you want to go. We've all met someone who's resistant to change, right? Maybe you've been that person yourself at some point. You get into a routine, you find a way of doing things that feels comfortable, and you stick to it. But success doesn't reward the stubborn, it rewards the flexible. You can be working incredibly hard at something that no longer serves you or isn't aligned with the changing landscape. And if you're not willing to adapt, you'll get left behind. It's like trying to navigate with an old map. The terrain changes, the path shifts, and if you're not ready to adjust, you're in trouble. I remember a time early in my career when I was working hard, doing what I thought was right, following a strategy that had worked well up until that point. But things started changing. The market, the needs of my clients, even the tools we used. At first, I resisted. I kept telling myself that if I just worked a little harder, pushed a little more, everything would go back to the way it was. But life doesn't work that way, does it? It moves forward, whether we like it or not. And I had to make a choice. Adapt or stay stuck. Once I embraced change, adjusted my approach, I found myself on a path to new levels of success that I wouldn't have reached if I'd stubbornly clung to what once worked. Adaptability requires awareness, a willingness to look at reality and make the necessary shifts. And here's the secret. People who adapt see opportunity where others see disaster. They see a chance to learn, to grow, and to keep moving forward. Instead of fearing change, they embrace it. And because they do, they reap rewards. Hard work must evolve with the times. We can't rely on yesterday's solutions for tomorrow's problems. Adaptability isn't only about changing your strategies, it's about changing your mindset too. A rigid mindset, thinking that things should be a certain way, often leads people to frustration and ultimately burnout. When you're not flexible, you end up exhausted because you're fighting reality, struggling against the very circumstances that could be offering you new directions and new ideas. But if you approach challenges with a mindset that's open to change, that's ready to see new possibilities, then your hard work transforms from mere labor into progress, into movement. It becomes growth. Think about the farmers of old. They knew that they couldn't control the weather, but they could adapt to it. They could observe the patterns, adjust their planting and harvesting times, even change their crops if necessary. And that adaptability was the difference between thriving and struggling. It's the same with us today, in any field, in any pursuit. We have to be willing to adapt, to adjust, and to let go of methods that no longer work. Hard work rooted in flexibility is work that will bear fruit over time. Relationships are another key to success that can't be replaced by hard work alone. Success isn't achieved in a vacuum. It's not a solo act. Even the most brilliant minds, the hardest workers, need connections, partnerships, and mentors. Relationships bring us opportunities that we can't create on our own. They open doors that hard work alone won't unlock. People often say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But I'd take it one step further. It's who you know that's willing to help you. I remember my own mentors, the men who guided me, who gave me advice, who invested in me. Without them, my hard work wouldn't have taken me half as far. Those relationships taught me the value of shared wisdom, of learning from others who had been down the road before me. There's no substitute for the support, insight, and encouragement of people who genuinely want to see you succeed. They help you avoid pitfalls, they share opportunities, and they push you to grow in ways you couldn't do on your own. Building strong relationships takes time, respect, and a willingness to give before you get. You don't just show up when you need something. You invest in people. You support them. You show up for them too. And when you do that, you create a foundation of trust. So when you need guidance or an introduction or even just a word of encouragement, you've got people in your corner. Relationships built on integrity and mutual respect amplify your efforts and make the journey more rewarding. All these ingredients are vital if you want to turn your hard work into real success. Hard work by itself can only take you so far, but when combined with these elements, it can take you to heights you never dreamed of. And each of these elements, direction, knowledge, adaptability, and relationships, has to be nurtured, has to be worked on with as much effort as the hard work itself. Because success isn't a product of just labor. It's the product of a balanced, thoughtful, and wise approach. Here's what ties all these pieces together: your mindset. Your mindset is like the soil from which all the other aspects of success grow. It's the lens through which you see your direction, your knowledge, your adaptability, and your relationships. Without the right mindset, Even the hardest work will feel like an uphill battle. But with the right mindset, every ounce of effort becomes a meaningful step forward. You see, the foundation of a powerful mindset is belief. Belief in yourself, in your goals, in your capacity to grow, change, and succeed. But here's the thing. Belief isn't just positive thinking or wishful thinking. It's not telling yourself, I can do this, while feeling full of doubt underneath. Belief is a product of preparation, of laying down the groundwork, so that when challenges arise, you know you can handle them. Think of it as earned confidence. When you've put in the work, gained knowledge, built relationships, and adapted over time, you gain a sense of true, unshakable belief. And that belief will carry you through the hardest of times. In my life, I learned that nothing undermines hard work more than a defeated mindset. A negative, scarcity-driven mindset drains energy, creates doubt, and places roadblocks where there could be opportunity. I remember in my early days of sales, there were times I'd hit a wall, weeks where it felt like nothing was working. But I had to teach myself that these were temporary conditions, not permanent realities. I had to shift from a mindset of frustration to a mindset of resilience. And that's key. If you approach every setback as an opportunity to learn, every challenge as a stepping stone, you won't just work harder, you'll work wiser. A growth mindset is essential because it allows you to see hard work as part of the journey, not the end goal. It lets you view setbacks as learning experiences, as tests of character and endurance. The more you view each obstacle as a chance to grow, the stronger you become. That's why success is so much about who you become, not just what you achieve. It's about developing the kind of resilience that can handle rejection, that can weather criticism, that can push through failure. Because I'll tell you this, failure will come. Disappointment will happen. But if you've built a mindset rooted in growth, rooted in belief, you'll keep going. With the right mindset, your hard work is not just labor, it's growth. You're not just moving towards a goal, you're evolving. This mindset makes you resilient, adaptable, and focused. When you believe in yourself and are grateful for the opportunities and relationships in your life, every ounce of hard work has meaning. It becomes fulfilling in and of itself. And when you're fulfilled by the work, by the process, you're already successful, no matter the outcome. But there's another aspect of mindset we cannot forget: discipline. Discipline is the ability to follow through on your commitments, to do the work even when it's hard, even when it's not exciting, even when nobody's watching. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Because let's be real, anyone can set a goal. Anyone can get inspired. But not everyone can sustain that inspiration through the daily grind, through the days when motivation is low. Discipline means sticking with your vision, putting in the effort consistently, even when progress feels slow. I always tell people, motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. Discipline is what allows you to build momentum, and momentum is a powerful thing. Once you've got momentum on your side, every bit of effort compounds. What once felt hard starts to feel natural, and you build a rhythm that propels you forward. But discipline doesn't happen by accident. It's something you cultivate, something you build, and it's rooted in the small decisions you make every day. It's about holding yourself accountable, not for the big moments, but for the small, seemingly insignificant ones. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out, and that takes discipline. When you combine all these ingredients, you're no longer just working hard. You're working towards something greater. You're building a foundation for success that's resilient, sustainable, and fulfilling. Because it's not just about achieving the goal, it's about who you become on the journey to achieving it. The process shapes you, strengthens you, and prepares you for everything that comes next. With all of this in mind, think about the role of hard work now. Hard work alone is like a single ingredient in a recipe. It doesn't create the final dish by itself. Hard work is valuable, but only when combined with all these other things. When you work hard in alignment with these factors, you're not just grinding away. You're building something that will last. You're crafting a life of purpose, of contribution, of genuine achievement. And that is why hard work alone won't make you successful. Because success is a multi-dimensional journey, one that requires every part of you, not just your effort, but your wisdom, your adaptability, your connections, and your inner growth. It's about becoming the kind of person who attracts success, not just the person who chases it down. And that transformation, that evolution, is what true success is all about.